The Suzuki Grand Vitara has a reputation for being more than just another soft roader. Although quite compact for a 4x4, it's one of the only vehicles in its class with a proper low-range transfer case. And yet it's also maneuverable and nimble enough to be used for daily commuting around town, which means it was a perfect candidate to fill one of the slots in the RPM long-term test fleet.
There are a lot of reasons why SUVs are considered a must-have for long-term evaluation. For starters, it remains one of the most important segments on the local vehicle market and one of the few that's still showing growth. Also, let's not forget that an SUV, even a fairly compact one like the Suzuki Grand Vitara, can carry a substantial payload and that it offers a level of practicality rivaling that of a station wagon. Finally, SUVs offer a vital level of versatility when it comes to exploring uncharted territory or simply heading off the beaten track. They can cope with conditions our road cars simply wouldn't handle and therefore also allow us to explore areas out of bounds to normal vehicles.
The Grand Vitara shone in several key areas, and principal amongst those was the solid build quality of this vehicle. It felt durable throughout the 20,000 kilometers and never suffered from a rattle or a squeak. We also thought that it was pretty comfortable on long journeys, and then of course the 4x4 side of things, because of that low transfer case, was pretty impressive as well.
We put the long-term Grand Vitara to full use during its one-year tenure at RPM TV, including a cross-country trip to Agulhas in the Southern Cape. It proved to be a comfortable cruiser in most conditions, with a firm but cohesive ride on both tar and gravel, while that reassuringly robust build quality really came to the fore on some of the rougher gravel sections. The four-wheel drive system ensured traction and stability, and we rarely needed to switch to low-range mode, although it was great to use when the going did get tough. Swapping between low-range and high-range is as simple as turning a rotary controller. Although the Grand Vitara 2.4 isn't the flagship model, it's still equipped to the hilt with most of the important mod cons. The cloth upholstery proved to be durable, while the switchgear and instruments were unequivocal in design and operation. The decent sound system had an integrated 6-disc CD changer, while other niceties included steering wheel-mounted satellite controls. The Suzuki was always a comfortable place to spend time in, even for rear passengers. Efficient packaging meant there was always enough space, and we also liked the generous cargo bay accessible from the rear tailgate. Its full list of safety features includes front, side and curtain airbags, as well as ABS brakes. Much of our time behind the Grand Vitara's wheel was spent on tar surfaces, but being an SUV, we never felt concerned when we did encounter gravel conditions during our travels.
The Grand Vitara didn't give us too many reasons for complaint, but there were a couple of negatives. That large rear tailgate had a tendency to sag, and it had to be realigned a good couple of times. Also, the gear shift lever didn't have the best of actions, quite long and laborious, and we missed the convenience of cruise control. The 2.4-litre engine could probably do with a bit more poke, and we had to really thrash it at times, which means the fuel consumption wasn't the best either.
That said, the average consumption of under 12 litres per 100 kilometres isn't too shabby, considering the heavy right feet the Grand Vitara had to contend with, and progress was generally swift too.
After 20,000 kilometers, our Suzuki still looks and feels as good as new, and that despite its varied roles as a practical workhorse, a daily commuter and a long-distance tourer, all of which means we'll miss our Grand Vitara dearly.
In fact, our Suzuki Grand Vitara handled its multiple tasks with such aplomb that finding a replacement will be a real challenge. After 12 months and just more than 20,000 kilometers, we are more impressed with the Grand Vitara than ever. As compact 4x4s go, this one is a winner.